Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brendan and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, it is great to have you, and Bitcoin is plummeting. Now, over the last 2 days, Bitcoin is down over 16%, and while there is support below us, we have broken right through one support line after another. And while there is support below this, we have broken through our most significant support level, being this $10,500 level. Now, if you guys don't understand this level, this is a pretty significant level because this is the previous top of Bitcoin, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And what was former resistance has now turned support. And as we look at this chart, support did not hold for very long. And while we did see an initial bounce, most would call this a dead cat bounce because we immediately bounced up off of this guy and fell right back down through it, all the way down into the $9,000 area. So I think today more than ever is a very important day to take a realistic evaluation of Bitcoin and really kind of try to get an understanding about where this guy is going to continue moving into the future. So if any of that sounds interesting, make sure you guys stick around for the entire duration of the video, as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this. So with Bitcoin over here really going off of a cliff, and I want to kind of measure this out on a daily time scale so we can see just how volatile this movement was. So if we want to go ahead and measure this from the top of this 2-day stretch that we have had to the downside, from top to bottom, this was over 16%. Now, 16% down is pretty much the worst movement that we have seen since March of 2020, when the markets bottomed out around that $4,000 to $5,000 area on Bitcoin. So this is a pretty historic level of downside that we haven't seen in quite some time. You know, almost the last 6 months, I would even say, is the last time that we saw a level of bearishness to this degree. Now, with us breaking through some supports, I think it's very important of everything that we've broken through to understand just how kind of significant a move this is, and then to understand where we could be going because of this. So with us breaking through, of course, this uptrend that we had already over here, and if we want to kind of reevaluate of Bitcoin, I think what we're going to have to do is kind of draw this parallel channel that we had been talking about out. And with us not only breaking through the bottom of this parallel channel, the support line that we had, also the 50 EMA, and also the bottom of this previous channel that was actually massive. Now, this goes back for some time. We'll zoom back out here so you guys can kind of see this guy. And what I am a little bit nervous about is the fact that we have broken that triple top previous resistance, now turned support. And also, what I think I'm most afraid of is that we're going to come back up, test that level as resistance once again, also the bottom of this massive parallel channel, and actually see this as resistance and come back to the downside even further. Now, we do have an area of support around 9,600. This is going to be, a couple different areas of support, but I think most significantly, this is going to be the 200 EMA on the 1-day time scale. Now, if we're flashing this back to the 4-hour chart, we can see that, yes, this has been a metric ton and a half of sell-off, and that the level of volume that we have seen over here was some of the greatest and highest volume that we've seen, in the last month or so, to say the least. I mean, this level of sell-off pressure is matching some of the buying pressure that we had on this monumental pump from like 9K all the way up to 12K. So definitely good volume, which sometimes is a good thing, sometimes is a bad thing. It really depends on what side of the spectrum you are trading off of, whether you want to be short or long. But with this guy falling over here, of course, this fell right through the 50 EMA, right through the 200 EMA, and with this guy coming down to the downside, I'm starting to see a pretty imminent death cross happening on this 4-hour chart, which could lead to further problems for Bitcoin. Now, this is not what you really want to see at the top of a formation, but I think overall, there still is support left on Bitcoin. Now, we talked about this $9,600 area. If Bitcoin cannot hold, I would say that this relative range over in here, this is going to be a serious sign that there could be even more drastic downside to come. Now, there's really 2 ways to look at this. Some people see this as a great buying perspective and objective, and others see this as a very sad moment because this could mean that Bitcoin is not going to have a higher swing high over here, and that we could, despite everything kind of working in Bitcoin's favor as of 2020 really from March to the current time period, a lot of people kind of saw this as the golden opportunity for cryptocurrencies to really take off and show why they stood out from fiats because of everything that has been corrupting fiats this year. And I'm not going to go too in depth into that, but with that being said, I want to take a look at some of the indicators and oscillators because, of course, we did talk about targets on Bitcoin, and needless to say, none of the upside targets have hit. And in fact, we have gone through several of our downside targets, and we have been working through those. Now, to be quite honest, I'm a little bit shocked that $10,500 area didn't hold. I really saw that as a strong support, and while we can see we definitely tested that with this wick, it was not enough to hold. So now what I'm really watching for is to see if we can trickle up over here and actually reject around that $10,500 to $10,700 area and reject and come back down to the downside. And I think that's one thing I'm really curious about. Another area of resistance is going to be around 11,100 to 11,200. This is going to be the previous bottom, previous support, now turn resistance on Bitcoin, and another area that I am looking for. Now, while we do have this death cross on the 4-hour chart, we definitely don't have one on the 1-day yet, which is a very good thing. But we can see that very clearly after the sell-off today. To no one's surprise, the 50 EMA is now pointing downwards as well. So it's going to be very unique to see how much Bitcoin can bounce off of this level. And I think that that is going to be something that is very telling as to where Bitcoin wants to continue heading in this direction. If we don't bounce very much and we start getting rejected at resistance levels, that could be a sign that we want to go ahead and test that 200 EMA on the daily chart, and maybe even start a continuation and reversal pattern over here. So again, I think it's really too early to kind of call anything, heads or tails here, but certainly I would say that this is not a good sign for Bitcoin, that it broke through not only, the 10,500 area of resistance, but multiple different EMAs on several different time scales. So I am a little bit concerned for the time being. I want to see how this plays out just a little bit more, but that is, I guess, the name of the game over here. So we'll keep it a close eye on this guy. I was a little bit disappointed with the price action today, but nonetheless, great volume and great price evaluation is still happening. And there's always two sides to this coin. And as someone who is actively trading this, if there's volume and action happening, especially like this, I'm not too upset. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, hit that like and subscribe button. And I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. If you guys really didn't like that video, or excuse me, if you guys really did like this video, share it with someone that might need to hear this. Again, nothing I say is legal, financial, or tax advice in any way. But with that being said, guys, I will see you guys in the next video.